There we go. What's up, everybody? It's Talia, your creative confidence mentor. I'm here to reconnect you with your creative identity. Come on in. A few minutes late, I hit live, but I didn't confirm that I wanted to go live. So I was standing here talking to myself for a moment. But come on in if you're joining me. Say what's up, say hi in the comments so I know that you're here. Let me know where you're watching from. Again, it's Talia, your creative confidence mentor, and tonight I'm actually going to be recreating a painting that I've done before. I had created some waves as a set, but tonight we're going to be doing the same thing on a 10 by 20 panel. So it's going to be a little bit different. I haven't done a painting like this in a while, or since then. That was my first and last time that I'd done that. I'm also going to take a moment, or I guess while I'm creating, I'll be sharing with you some of the tips that I have for how to find or create silence and solitude in your everyday life. I did promise you guys a video on this a long time ago, but like I mentioned, I was struggling. It's easier for me to come live and for you guys to watch me create, and then we can hang out together and I can talk to you that way. As far as pre-recording, doing the editing, I'm still learning all that, and I just figured I might as well just share on here while we're live than keep promising a video that may or may not come out. I'm still working on learning how to edit videos, and I promise it'll get better. I'm hoping that that I'll be able to do more of that. That way, when we're not going live, because I go live every other Saturday, hopefully there'll come a point in time where I'll be able to push out recorded videos on the Saturday that we're not hanging out together. But so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and come over here to the creator space and make sure that I kind of want to disable this view, but I also don't want you guys to lose the audio because that happens. So let me go ahead and put my gloves on. I haven't prepared the canvas, so I'm gonna flip it over. I'm gonna put tape on the back. Got our thumbtacks here so that way the paint can drip off and not get onto the back or get stuck onto my surface. So that's what I'm doing. Just come on in, let me know if you're watching. And if you're catching the replay, definitely let me know. And if you're not, oh, actually, let me take the canvas off before I put the gloves on. But if you're not already, make sure that you follow me on Instagram. That way you can see the finished product. And sometimes when I'm not posting, I'm still creating here, so I'll definitely be adding some of the stuff that I've already created. I can't find the end of this tape. Here it is. Actually, here's the pieces that I created last week. I'm not sure if I posted them yet or not. I think I did. But we've got some rainbows here. You can kind of tell that I did the pour on the clouds. So the clouds have the acrylic pour. I used a turquoise, a dark blue. I think it's phthalo blue, actually, and silver. And we're going to be using some of those same colors for tonight's waves. So this one is, again, I'm always using the same paint, the Artist Loft pre-mixed paint or ready-mixed paint. This one is, where's the name? Metallic Silver. We're going to be using that tonight. Turquoise. Let me make sure this is already open. Nope, this one's still closed. And I should probably get these out the way so I don't get them covered in paint. And it has some flowers here too. And a butterfly. So there we go. Those are some flowers that I created. Or that I painted, I should say. This is something different. It's not on a canvas, but it's a wooden panel. The thing that I want to give like a tip for this is actually to paint. Put a layer of paint before you pour on them, because it's wood. It will absorb your paint, which will require you to use more, and it won't move as much as you need it to. So just a little tip or a FYI. All right, so let me go ahead and prep the canvas. And again, this is just so that after I pour the paint, it won't drip too much onto the back. And if it does, then I can just peel it off with the tape. feel like this week went by pretty fast. Can't believe it's already Saturday, but at the same time, I'm excited because it feels like it's been a very long time since I've been live to create with you guys. But a lot has happened in that 2 weeks. A lot has happened. So backstage, behind the scenes, whatever you want to call it. I've still been creating. I've been doing a whole lot of walking, and that's actually been helping me with inspiration and finding ideas to create. I'm just enjoying being out in nature. So it's nice. I'm taking advantage of the warm weather. This one's kind of bent, but I'm going to see if it'll work out here. I basically just need the thumbtack in the canvas so that way it'll allow the paint to drip off the sides. And I do have the blow dryer here tonight because we'll be using that to push the paint. Okay, let's see. Colors I'm going to be using. I got to make sure that they're open. Oh, let me get the canvas back into frame. So we did get an upgrade on this camera quality with the new phone. Let's just hope that it doesn't give us any issues. I had some problems with it when I first got it, and I wasn't too happy. But you know, for the camera quality, it's actually worth it. I like it, and hopefully you do too, because it looks a whole lot clearer here where I'm creating. You can see everything. Let's see, do we have this out yet? Some aqua green. So we're basically getting all our water colors, the colors that go with the water. Let's see, which white do I have? I have a metallic white. I also have a titanium white. I don't know which one's gonna be better. I think I use, let me see, do I have titanium, metallic? Okay, I got 2 of each. I'll be fine. I got plenty to use that. So I need a dark blue. Let's see, bright blue or phthalo blue. I think the phthalo blue is a little bit, oh, the bright blue is darker. Let's do both. Let me see which one's open. This is still new. I always like having plenty. I have plenty of paint. What the heck? It looks like it was kind of open, but not open. What's going on? Oh, just kidding. The seal was on top. Oh my God. I need to clean this because that's not going to be good. And I'm going to be pouring my paint directly onto the canvas from the bottle. So that's why it's important that I have this cleaned out first. I think I'm going to use this bright blue as my background. So I'm going to use that at the top. And then I'm going to layer all the other colors. So let me separate that from the rest of them. Then I'll layer all my other colors as the waves. Oh, come on. Phthalo blue. Do I have an open phthalo blue? Maybe. Oh, I don't. Cool. We get to open a new bottle of phthalo blue. All right. So those of you who have been here before, thank you for coming back, or welcome back, I should say. If you're watching the replay, let me know. Put this up here to the side. It's gonna be for cleanup later. All right, I'm putting the gloves on. All right, again, I'm here basically to show you my style, what I'm doing when I create. Being creative isn't always and only limited to arts and crafts, although that is usually what I'm doing is I'm painting or creating and doing junk journaling, which I haven't done in a while. So I think I want to do that next week. I might do like a series where we sit down and actually do a junk journal together. So I know some of you don't know or aren't familiar with what it is. So we might be able to do that together. And I hope that by you watching me make a mess or do things as experiment, or just, you know, I'm here to show you that even though I'm not sure of how this is going to turn out, I've only done this once before. And when I created it, it was on 2 separate canvases. So it's basically the same thing as what I'm doing without them being split. But again, I haven't done that since the first and last time when I created that set. I'm not worried because I have the confidence of knowing how my paint works together, how to layer it, the techniques that I'm going to use, and how to push my blow dryer or use the blow dryer to push my paint. So that's actually what I use, and that's my foundation whenever I'm recreating something. So that's where my confidence comes from. My gifts and talents come from God. So because he created us, we get to create, and that's what I'm trying to inspire you to do, or that's what I'm trying to remind you of. You know, when we were kids, we were excited. We always used our imagination, and we could dream big, and we didn't have no fear of creating what we saw in our mind and bringing that vision into a physical form. So that's actually the beauty of something that you have, and probably how you can identify where your creativity is at, is if you can see something before it's actually in front of you. That's because you're the only one that can actually see that. You're the only one that holds that vision inside your mind. And it's not until you bring it into physical form that we get to see it and witness your creative work and enjoy it. So definitely don't hold back on what you are good at, and continue practicing, and you'll get better, because that's basically how I started. I didn't even know I was going to be an artist, or that I would be on YouTube painting in front of anybody. So again, if you came here for a tutorial or like a how-to, this video may be a little bit longer because I'm just painting. You get to hang out with me while I create. So, and the other part of it is, if you are somebody who's following me for my art, you kind of get to come behind the scenes and watch me as I create it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this. I'm going to go ahead and keep the canvas where it's at because it's perfectly in frame, and I like that. So let me actually plan out, because I don't want my blow dryer to knock anything over once I do add that into the mix. So I will bring the board over this way, just for the future. See, here we go. Already happening. Already knocking things over. So I'm kind of planning this out. Plan it out, plan it out. I'm gonna bring my paper towels over here. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start with the darkest color as my top layer in the back. So again, I'm pouring everything directly onto the canvas. I have this comb here because sometimes you can create lines within your painting. So once I'm done with the panel, I may create smaller ones here on these little wooden canvases here. And these have already been primed with gesso. So again, when it's wooden, you want to lay down a paint or something to prime it. That way your pour paint will actually move on the canvas and not get soaked into the board, and where you have to use more and it doesn't move as smoothly for you. So that's just a tip there. All right, let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and I'm probably going to bring it down this far maybe, and then have my waves come through here. You see that? Baby shark. All right, here we go. Just going to be generous with it. Real generous. And I don't actually have a knife to move this with like I thought I did. So and I also have plenty of paint for this reason, that I do not have to worry or be concerned that I'm going to run out. And because there's gaps, I'm actually going to just move this along here to help them move. And while we're creating this little background with all the tranquil colors, let me go ahead and start sharing with you. So
The reason why, let's see, how do I start? The last time I made a video for you guys, it was my 3 tips on how to avoid creative block or to overcome creative block. I usually prevent it and stay in my creative zone by doing morning pages. Every morning I do a brain dump and I pour whatever's clogged up in my brain and I just dump it onto the pages. There's I got the idea, or this practice came from Julia Cameron, who is the author of Artist Way. And she suggests to write 3 pages, a minimum of 3 pages every morning. So that's what I do. I write out my 3 pages and it allows me to get everything out, everything that might, we don't realize what's nagging us in the back of our mind until we actually write it down and we get to see our thoughts in front of us. And after a few days of writing the same thing, you kind of notice, oh, there's a problem here, or there's a pattern. There's a thought pattern here. So you kind of recognize those, and eventually you're just going to want to find a solution for it because you're tired of hearing yourself write about it every day. Or at least I was. So it's helped me with that. Another thing that I practice is I called it, or she calls it, having an affair. And that's basically stepping away from the art or the creative piece that you're working on. If you're getting frustrated or you're just forcing the results to come and it's not working out for you, best thing to do is just step away from it. What I like to do is I leave the house completely and go for a walk. All right, so I got my background color. I'm going to go ahead and go in with the different colors and start creating my waves. So yeah, having an affair definitely helps you to get away and distract yourself and to find inspiration somewhere else. Another thing too is, what was the third thing? Do you guys remember? I'm just kind of in a way making the waves with the lines or with my paint, because it's all going to get pushed around into each other, all up into each other. So just tuck in here. Oh, actually, that's the segue into what I'm talking about tonight. Is my third thing that I practice on how to avoid creative blocks are to practice silence and solitude. And that actually came about because of my own prayer and fasting for other reasons, but it also helps me with my creativity. So that's actually something I suggest that everybody does, and I'm going to be sharing with you a couple of things or a couple of ways that you can do that without having. So what I usually do is I'll do that maybe once or twice a year. I'll spend an entire weekend on my own, in my own head, in silence, no TV, no distractions. Actually, I'll disconnect from social media. I won't watch TV. Sometimes I'll go as far as eliminating music as well. So that's like the biggest thing for me, is to remove the music. I don't know. I have music in everything that I do, from when I wake up and get ready. That's actually what helps me get motivated for the day. And so to not have any music is a very different world. Let's see, where else can I put this? Now I'm just filling in the gaps. You can kind of see how my colors are coming in together. I'm keeping the silver and the white out because that's going to be like the foam of our waves. All right. So tip number 1, or one way to find and create, I guess it would be to create, because you have to be intentional. You have to be intentional about the time that you're spending in that silence and solitude, and whatever your goal is, or the reason why you're entering into that silence and solitude, what you want to achieve from it. For me, again, like I mentioned, it's for my fasting, so it's usually for me to want to hear like my own thoughts and my own ideas. You're getting away from other creators giving you input, and then I even mentioned podcasts. When you disconnect from social media and the people on podcasts, you're also eliminating the advice that they give you or the tips that they give you. Like right now, what I'm doing is telling you guys what you guys can and shouldn't do while in that time. But that should also be something that you determine and you decide on your own. And being in the silence and solitude kind of allows you to do that because you're only drawing on what you already know and what you have in your mind. All right. So yeah, one of the first tips is to wake up earlier than everybody else. If you live with others, if you wake up earlier than everybody else, then you know you've got the house to yourself. It's quiet. You can spend that time to plan and think and read or write, depending on what you do or what's your style. And then also for those of us that aren't morning people, it's the same thing if you stay up later than everybody else. So once everybody goes to bed, that's the time that you can use to plan and create. Right. While you're thinking on that, I'm going to go ahead and mute this for now because I don't want it to get loud. I'm going to use the blow dryer to start pushing the colors together. You can already see how they're merging and kind of creating the waves on their own from the lines that I created. So we're just going to watch it push up together and it's going to create the waves on its own. So here we go. Maybe not. Hold on one second. There we go. All right, so we see we've got all our crazy waves going on. Now I'm gonna go in with the white. That way we can give it some of that foam, like the top of the wave. All right, I'm just gonna do that. So it's gonna separate our colors. I'll do the same with the silver. And I don't know if you noticed, whoops, this isn't open. But when I pushed the colors, I started at the top. That way those could mix together. And then I came to the bottom and then pushed those up. All right. So again, like I mentioned, you want to be intentional. Why do I keep saying intentional? You want to be intentional about your space and the time that you're spending in silence and solitude based on what you want to achieve from it. And so to create a space where you can do this is also important. So some people have what's called a prayer closet. So you can create something that's similar to that, to go in there and write or read or meditate, whatever it is that you're going to be doing during your silence and solitude. Again, you can do this early in the morning. If you're creating a space where you're going to be practicing your silence and solitude or getting into the quiet, you want it to be comfortable, but not too comfortable that you fall asleep. You want to still be active. You want your brain to still be alert and engage in whatever it is that you're learning or what you're training yourself to do. Okay, it looks like a major storm. You see this big old wave coming up? I like how the white is wisping up into there, but I don't want to get too carried away. So now that I've got this created down here, I'm going to go ahead and add some blue. That way we can cover this bottom space. I might actually bring in this dark color again. What is it? Bright blue. All right, so what else are we going to add to that list? Like I mentioned, leave the house, go out for a walk. You want to get into nature. You don't have to go for a walk, but if you have a pond or a lake to go to, someplace where you can sit under the trees, listen to the birds, whatever it is that inspires you, get out into nature. Sometimes watching animals or your pets can also inspire you because you can always learn from nature. Nature knows how to naturally do its thing. And if you follow that, you create beautiful things like this. Look, the paint just naturally mixes together and it allows me to make this wave over here. You see how I have a blue line coming up here? I don't know what created that. And I have something in my canvas or in my paint. So now is the time to pay attention to your details. If you have anything in the paint, you want to pick it up while it's still wet. So I usually just dip my finger in there and pull it out. So there's like some debris. I need to get something up in here. Maybe some more silver since I've got that going. I should get a straw to push this just real lightly. Or, actually, that's fine. So what I'm doing is I'm just dipping my finger in there. And it's allowing the paint to mix. I want to get rid of this. It was too straight of a line. And this right here, do you see this crazy mess? Or like there's no form. So I'm just gonna bring it like that to kind of create the wave with my finger. I don't know if that helped it or made it worse. All right. Basically, if you can create a space where you can spend time alone and just be alone with your thoughts, that's the goal. That's what helps. I don't want to move it too much because it's going to lose the form, but I do want to get it to where they're mixing in together. Let's see. Let's get some of this blue right here. Dark colors. And a little bit of the silver, maybe. Let me push this down first. All right, muting you guys again. Did y'all catch that? The cord of the blow dryer got into my canvas up here. So what color is this bright blue? I'm gonna get some more of that in this corner to cover that up while I've got the time while it's still wet. Okay, there we go. There we go. Actually, I think I'm good with the blow dryer, so I'm gonna unplug it and get it out the way. Bear with me. Okay. Blow dryer, you have been properly relieved. Look at this, you guys. This is definitely so much different from my first creation or my first attempt at doing this. I love it because it looks like it's a big old storm coming through. I'm going to add some white along here. Do you see how it's pushed up like that's a major wave right there? Let me see. How can I guide this? Oh. So what I'm going to do is, can you see me? No, you can't. Okay. Out of the frame, I'm going to pour a little bit of this white onto one of these, the tooth of the comb, and then I'm going to come and drizzle it on to the canvas. I'm just following the form that is already there in the waves themselves. Here we go. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start from here. That actually worked out pretty good. Good idea. Good idea. All right, come on through here. Steady, steady, steady. Boom. Shake that out. All right. Yeah, I probably should have got a straw. That way it's not all crazy when I blow it. But I'm going to come bring this over here. And straighten this line. I'm kind of impressed with my left hand right now. How steady I am. That looks so cool. Okay, so where else can I fix this? Where is it to? I'm basically looking for areas where the lines look too stiff. I love how this white is like, yeah, like that with the sound effects and everything. When you don't have words, you use sound effects. Here we go. This looks very messy and no longer like a wave. So I'm kind of just bringing it into what's already there in the painting and cleaning it off. Your hands were the first tools you were given, so don't ever forget to use them or bring them in. They always help. There we go. Yo, look at that. Yeah, so the big part is done. I've got like the main picture done. I'm just going in and trying to get the details. All right. So the first thing was to, utilize any extra early time that you could wake up before others to create a moment of silence and solitude for yourself. You could even create a dedicated space to go in and find quiet. And then the third thing was to get out into nature and draw inspiration from there with no distractions, of course. The main thing is to be alone with your own thoughts, which brings us to the next tip, which would be like meditating, or reading or journaling. And journaling can be whatever you want it to be. There are so many different methods to journaling. It could be like the morning pages that I spoke about where you're doing a brain dump. So what I'm doing is I'm going along the edge of the painting because you can see there's gaps and I'm just filling that in to cover the sides. I could leave it and have the drip on the side to kind of add character to the painting. But I'm going to try and cover the places that I can. So yeah, and then sorry, I keep going back and forth between telling you what I'm doing and then giving you ideas for silence and solitude. So yeah, journaling there can be many methods of journaling, just like the morning pages where you're doing a brain dump and getting whatever's on your mind out. And usually this type of writing does not make sense and it's not supposed to. It's just going to be whatever comes to your mind in that moment. So if you're thinking about, the groceries you got to buy, the tasks you got to do throughout the day, those kind of things, you just get them out. If it's bugging you, if it's on your mind, write it out because it helps. Else you'll be carrying that with you for the rest of the day and you won't realize it, but it will distract you and it will keep you from being able to focus on what you're supposed to be doing. Journaling can also help you with determining what to do or strategize anything that you're dealing with. It can help you set your mindset for something that you're going to be doing in the future, whether it's 5 minutes in the future, 10 minutes in the future, an hour. If you're writing in the morning and you've got something important coming up during the day, you could kind of write about it as if it's already happened, or that you're thinking positive about it, that everything's going to go well. And that way your mindset will already be made up before it happens, and that helps you to be more successful in the things that you do instead of showing up nervous or anxious. And actually, basically, I've given you the tips for embracing or creating moments of silence and solitude in your everyday life. Journaling is also another way to help you with anxiety. I don't know if any of you struggle with that. I know I used to. And so some of the things that I would do to help ground myself was to journal, or shower. Take a shower and get the water to hit you on certain places of your body and be like, yo, it's hitting me here. And be aware. It just, distracts you from your mind going into all these different thoughts. It basically breaks the thought pattern that you have going on in your mind that's causing the anxiety. And that's how you'll be able to help yourself focus on the moment and what's really going on in the present. Because anxiety usually comes from panic when we're thinking about things in the future that haven't happened, or all the what ifs. It's it's fake. It's false. It didn't even happen. It's not. It's not even happening. You're creating it in your mind. But that's the same thing with worry. All right. And if you flip it to be positive, then it's called faith, where you just think it to be all the good things that will happen. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I've taken my gloves off and I'm getting ready to move this piece out of the way. I like it. I kind of feel like this right here is a little, I don't know, it looks a little not like a wave. But at the same time, you can kind of see how there's each element, where this is the big old waves come crashing. And then right here, it looks like it got pushed up. And then this is another layer. So I kind of like that it's different on each level, and that the squiggly lines kind of do separate them. So I'm just going to leave it. I like it. I like it as it is. And I'm kind of proud of this is a whole 10 by 20 inch canvas, you guys. Like normally this is a big piece, or like a daunting piece to me, but it was actually pretty easy because I knew what I wanted to create, or how I wanted the waves to look. So I feel like it's pretty good. And my edges along the side are all covered as well. The top part is probably the only one, so I might actually turn this around. Let me do that. Ooh, I shouldn't have taken my gloves off. Let's do this here. I'm going to use my napkin to help me lift the painting without getting my fingers too messy. Oops. And while trying not to get all this paint on me, this is the bright blue. So here we go. All right. So now that I've shared the tips with you on how to enjoy or create moments of silence and solitude for yourself during your day, why do we need this? Why is it important? Well, because when you're a creative, it's important to keep that space available to be able to go and draw inspiration, because you don't want to end up with a creative block where you're frustrated, where you have something, especially if you're somebody who creates with deadlines, some creatives have deadlines that they must meet, especially if they have clients and they're creating for other people. Graphic designers, those of us that are on YouTube and have to make videos, and to remain consistent, you want to make sure that you don't get stuck. There are some people who claim that writer's block and creative block don't exist, or they're not real. And that's because they're aware that even though if you're not inspired, and even if you don't feel like creating, it's when you actually get into that space and you do it anyway that the inspiration starts to flow. So we kind of gotta move in order to get the momentum. You can't just be sitting in the same place and expect somebody to come and bump you along the way. So to create your own inspiration and your momentum, you have to, oh shoot. I just realized that I tilted this downward and my waves got shifted a little bit. So I'm gonna bring them back up a little. You see how this fell off? Whoopsies. Oh well. And that's what happens with fluid art. It moves on its own. All right. So I'm gonna turn this back around so you guys can see what it looks like now that I've got the sides covered. Bring it around slowly. And this is another reason why I put the thumbtacks on the bottom, because it helps me to hold the painting and move it around. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, this definitely got shifted a little bit. But it still looks good. I still like this part. I think this is my favorite up here, where the white got pushed in. I'm gonna use this here to kind of let white along here. Kind of. I need some more. All right. I think that's good. So I'm gonna move this out the way, and I'm gonna create on the little panels. I've been live for 42 minutes. This could be good enough, right? But I want to try. I don't know if you guys have seen my video or my paintings where I actually have the butterfly that kind of is mirrored. There's two canvases that I put together and then peeled apart. That's what I'm gonna do on two of these hexagons here. So let me do my best to kind of clear this up here. I used to try to keep my paint as it was so that way I could peel off the skins, but sometimes it's not worth it. Sometimes it's just okay to wipe it up and start fading. So I might need to set this on something. Here we go. Get my gloves on. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the pour paint. I'm gonna create my waves, and then I'm gonna smash the two canvases together, and then we'll peel them apart, and we'll see if that gives us a wave or if it's just gonna look really crazy. Either way, it's gonna have some pretty cool colors on it, so I'm not too worried. Oops, sorry. I'm not too worried if it does not look like a wave. I just want to see if it's possible to create it. And if it doesn't, I'm going to still appreciate the colors that we have here. All right, so my dark blue will be on the top here. And it's a smaller canvas, so I don't have to be worried too much about using a lot of paint, but I do want enough that it will transfer over to the other canvas once I press them together. So what do I do with my napkin? I forgot I just wiped up some of that paint. This is actually someone out there is probably like, you're wasting napkins. You're wasting paper towel. This is from the automotive department, and they work great. And they're only $2. So I'm gonna use the turquoise. Ooh, these waves look a little more fancy. Ooh, I forgot I'm not using the blow dryer. I need to chill out. I need to calm down with the pouring. some more of this turquoise here. Get some silver in these areas here. I don't know why, but I always leave the bottom like empty. I guess I'm expecting the paint to spread itself around, but it won't always do that. Ooh, look at that. What color is this? That. Maybe I'll use some more of this dark color here. Okay, so now I'm using my fingers instead of the blow dryer. Fill in this here. So it's going to be a little bit messier. But I also like how it's creating these designs. Very messy. Very messy. All right. This space up here, I'm just going to fill it in with the blue. Like that. Okay. Still got some empty spaces here. Fill in the hole, like so. Okay, so now I'm going to get my paint out of the way. I highly doubt that it's going to transfer over as nicely, this wave, crazy looking waves. But let's see what we get. I got to be steady. So I'm holding my canvas above the other one, kind of to line it up before I actually drop it on top. And the drop is done. So just sandwich lightly, but with enough pressure that I know it's picking up on the paint underneath. It's like a peanut butter jelly sandwich. Yeah, we got paint coming out the sides, so I know that it has at least connected. All right, so now I'm gonna open this up like a book. Peel the pages open. It wasn't successful. We're putting it back together. Okay, so I've got to actually push all the way around. That was real quick. I don't know if you guys saw that. So I'm gonna push pressure. I'm not push pressure. I'm gonna apply pressure on all areas of the canvas. Woo! Yep. That paint squirting out like crazy. So instead of like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, I treated it like what is that thing called? A waffle maker. Yeah, I think I'm hungry. I'm talking about food. All right, here we go. We're gonna peel it. Oh my god! Oh my god! That looks cool. I should have left it. Crazy design. Okay, here we go. Peeling it open like a book. Let's see what we get. Oh, will it let me? Yo! Okay, there's definitely no waves, but look at this. There is no other way that you would have gotten that design. No other way. That is so pretty. That is better than I expected. So I'm just going to use some of this paint that dripped off the side or got squeezed out of the side. And I'm just using my finger to touch it up. Just dab it on the side, dab it, dab it. Yeah. Cool. Does anybody out there make coasters? Because, yo, if you smush them together, it can make some pretty cool designs. All right, so I'm going to use one of my paint bottles here and just set that right on top so it can dry. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm using any of the extra paint that's on my surface. I got pushed out. And just run it right along the edge with the same color. Or similar. Something like that. You guys, this is so cool. I had so much fun. I think I say that every time that you guys watch me go live, but it's true. I have so much fun. This is my happy place. And I know you've got your own, whatever it is that you create with. Create, build, cook, organize. There's something you do. It's probably the area where people think that you're doing, like, when they look at you and say, does it need all that? And you're being extra. That's probably your creative space because you care about the details. If there's a place, a certain area where you can't just leave something knowing that there's a way that you can improve it, that's probably where you're creative at. So your passion's there. All right, I'm trying to balance it on the thing with the, like, there's paint on my glove, so it's sticking to the back of the canvas here. And there we go. There we go. Look at all of that. So there we have it. We've got waves. No, actually, it does look like waves. It still looks like there's water. See all that? It's so cool. And then we've got that piece over there on that side. Anybody getting seasick? All right, I'm gonna stop. All right, you guys, I appreciate you joining me tonight for the live. And if you're catching the replay, I definitely hope that you enjoyed hanging out with me and watching me create these pieces. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And if you aren't already following me on Instagram, the links are in the bottom of the description. And if you know anybody that might appreciate this video or who might be interested, definitely share it with them. And if you happen to create anything or I inspire you to create something, definitely share it with me so I can celebrate your creation. And that's it. That's all for tonight. Have fun hanging out, and I hope you'll come back to join me again. Again, it's every other Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, all right, you guys. Have a good night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye.